Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen, my brothers and sisters. Actually, I'm going to say my brother and sister in Christ because I'm pretty sure I only have one woman that actually watches my channel. So, shout out to the one woman that watches this channel, according to my demographics. But, guys, I got first place at the store championship playing this beautiful guy right here, the purple and green Doflamingo. They didn't have the winner card available, so I'm gonna get it later, but I did get this Brule, and then I got some winter cards. I got this Nami, and I got this Okiku, so pretty pumped about that. Because I mean, I honestly prefer getting those over the winter kit anyway, but you know, I'm gonna get all three, which is great. So I played this deck right here. I streamed this a little bit a couple days ago against my friend Yami, who won a treasure cup I think like 4 or 5 months ago, playing Whitebeard. And I did pretty well with it, so I was like, you know what, let me just play with it at the store championship, see what I do. It was a total of 3 rounds. It didn't go to 4 rounds because we had 3 undefeateds, and in the final round, the third undefeated got paired down, and he ended up losing, so it didn't go 4 rounds. But my matchups were Katakuri round 1, and then round 2 I played a mirror match, and round 3 I played Whitebeard. Round 4 I would have played another Katakuri if he would have won, but I did not. So I lucked out, didn't play against any blue. All of them lost for round 1, which is great. So good for me, and I'll just go over this deck list, guys. So to start out, playing the 12 events, we're playing Punk Gibson. I think it's just insane. Great trigger. Another great trigger and activate or counter event is Spiderweb. Spiderweb is just fantastic at restanding like your Luffy, so you can get like a free block and then 4K counter out of something and then get another free block with Luffy. So that's how you can keep hand advantage. And then what I like to do is I like to take the first 2 life, and then especially if I already have this in hand, and then I do Thunder Bagua to get me back on curve. I lost every single dice roll, guys, and I ended up actually throwing away my dice because let me put these closer to the screen for you. I ended up throwing away my dice because unless I can get them blessed by a beautiful big booty goth girl, then I'm gonna lose every dice roll. So if you are a beautiful big booty goth girl, I need you to bless my dice so I can actually finally win a dice roll. And yeah, I'm looking to partner up. So so here we go. Let me go to the characters now, and we're playing obviously the big boy Doflamingo. Guys, if you're playing into Whitebeard, I would honestly just mulligan for this card. If you can get this card and Guild Tsuru out on curve, you pretty much just win the game. And that's how I've won. I've played in the past 2 tournaments. I played 3 Whitebeards, and that's how I beat every single one of them, was Guild or Guild, and then this card right here. On top of just Sugar too, which is just fantastic. But this card just locks them, and the thing is, they can't play around it either, because if they play scared of Doflamingo, then they're only attacking with 1 or 2 characters at most, which they're not getting as much value from their characters, which means you're more safe and you don't have to use as many cards. So I think that's honestly a win in my book. And a lot of the times, if they just play Luffy from hand and go 5, you can counter out of 11, no problem. So I actually encourage them to do that, because then I'll just win the next turn. And then we do 4 Sugar. Sugar, guys, a lot of people have cut Sugar to 3. I don't think it's possible to ever cut this card down to 3, just because the matchups that it's so good against. Is great in the mirror, obviously. It's great into decks I think it's good into Whitebeard too, because you play it, you rest their Atmos whatever, and then you swing at the Atmos whatever, and then they either play the Luffy or they don't. They have any character they play, they have to waste that turn to deal with the Sugar, and Sugar tanks a hit too. So Sugar acts as like a rester, a blocker, and they can't play Rush Luffy and get his effect off, which is just fantastic. So also it's great into Law. It's great in the mirror match, like I said. It's really good in decks like Kuro. There's 2 Kuro people at my local, so sometimes playing this and just killing their Alvitas and stuff is actually super helpful. So I would in this scenario, in this case, I just wouldn't ever cut it to 3. And then we're playing, of course, Quattro of the film Luffy, who is paired very nice with film Nami. They work hand in hand together. One's the navigator, one is the captain. Luffy, obviously, just can play any film card, but you know, on 8 Dawn, especially if you're going second or you're going first and you Thunder Bagua, you can use Luffy and then play Nami and get Nami's effect on curve. So that would just be like a fantastic play. Or if you need a blocker, you can play Uta. I actually did see this on Eggman's or not Eggman, I'm sorry, what is, guys, is his name Pac-Man something? But he was playing 2 Kriegs, and I decided to test it out, and play 2 Kriegs. It didn't really help that much, to be honest with you guys. Like, it helped a little bit. It helped in game 3 against Whitebeard, because I popped his Luffy. But other than that, like his 4/6 vanilla Luffy. But other than that, didn't really come in handy. I thought about if there was, and if you guys watch my stream, I thought about this too. But Burndy World, I thought if there was gonna be multiple Whitebeards like there was in my last Tour Championship, then I was gonna play Burndy World and cut this to 1. Burndy World, for those of you guys who don't know, is an 8-cost character that Dawn -8. He gains like 700 million power or something like that. So if you ever catch them slipping with like when they don't have blockers, you automatically win the game. Or like if you have like Sugar, or like you punk Gibson the turn before and then, you know, obviously do whatever, like if you just drop him down, they're kind of scared to attack, because like if you have punk Gibson, they like auto lose, so they like play super hard around it. I've considered doing it. I've won a ton on the sim with that card, and if there were more Whitebeards, I would cut this to 1/1 to play it. I even have it in my deck box actually, just in case there were a lot of Whitebeards, but I only saw 1, and I ended up playing him in the finals. But I didn't end up needing to do it because I drew pretty well, despite there was like a judge thing, because I accidentally didn't have, I was kind of spreading out my Dawn like midway through the game. I had 7 Dawn, and I was kind of seeing how like what I wanted to discard off Krieg, and I saw that there was a Luffy in my Dawn deck, and technically I should have been disqualified. I should have gotten a game loss, but Cody was cool about it, and basically just made me shuffle the card back in and just discard an extra card from my hand, which really sucked because it was I ended up having to discard Film Nami, but we ended up securing the game anyway because we had 2 Doffys, 10 costs, and that helped a lot. And for the 4/6 vanilla, I'm playing Zoro. A lot of people tell me to play Ain, or whatever that guy's name is, the other 4/6, the purple guy, because he's a special attribute and not slash. But I think Zoro just looks cooler, and plus we don't have a lot of Zoros at our locals, so the odds of me like having to swing this into a buggy are pretty low. In a real tournament, I probably would just play the freaking 4/6 purple guy, but Zoro's just cooler than him, so that's why I decided to play him. No troll. And I'm playing 3 Utas, or yeah, 3 Utas, because I don't know, guys, like I think Uta's really good, but there are other cards I just wanted to fit into this deck, and I didn't want to cut any of my 4/6 vanillas, and I see her plenty, you know, like when you have searchers with Buena Fiesta, when you have Gil Tsuru, when you have Nami, like you can see this card a whole lot, so you don't really need to play 4 of them personally. So that's why I decided to cut it to 3. You still see it pretty much all the time. I saw it in pretty much every single one of my games in every tournament I played in, at least one. So I'm not really too concerned about drawing this, and you always kind of see it. Sometimes it can clog though. That's why I decided to cut it to 3 to fit other cards in there, because I wanted to play 12 4K events, because they're just the most important aspect of the game. If you have Punk Gibson, you can just get out of like any attack, or like Spider's Web gets out of any attack, and I didn't want to cut any Thunderboggwas either. And then we're playing 3 guild. I think 3 is the magic number here. A lot of people play 4. Oh, let me put it closer to the camera. A lot of people play 4, but again, it clogs. It's not a counter. I know the way of getting out of that is to play like Jet Gatling, which I was playing on my stream a couple nights ago, but I decided to cut it because I just wanted to fit other cards in there, like I said. The thing is, like, if you try to fit some of these cards in, like, I'm already playing Krieg, or 2 Kriegs, and possibly a Burndy World, so like 2 kind of tech cards. If you were to, you know, add some other cards like Jet Gatling, you'd have to take away other cards that I just don't like taking away. I guess what you could do, guys, even though it's not searchable, is instead of one of these 2Ks, what you could do is just play 1 Jet Gatling. Obviously, I'm playing the 12 2Ks, guys. But now that I think about it, you could play Jet Gatling instead. I'm playing the 4 Chopper, the 4 Shiki, and the 4 Buena Fiesta, along with the 3 Gil Tsurus. But if you wanted to, you could probably cut Shiki, because I think Shiki is the worst of them. Maybe Chopper, actually. Maybe Chopper is the worst of them, depending on your meta. I think Shiki's good for, like, if you need 1 extra body to, like, go for game, or, like, against Zoro, it's kind of good because it's a body to fight their little, like, little 2K bodies, and like kill their little small things. But yeah, I'd probably end up cutting Shiki or Chopper, one of the two. Obviously Buena Fiesta is most important, and just playing like one Jet Gatling, because sometimes you can get really bad clogs with like Luffy's, or like if you have a ton of like 2K events in hand, or like extra guilds in hand, or film Namis. So maybe that's what I'll end up doing. But guys, let me know what you think of this deck if you're planning on playing it. I think this deck definitely is like a tier. I want to put it in tier 1, to be honest with you, because the thing is, like, I have a pretty good Whitebeard matchup. I have a pretty good Law matchup, pretty good Katakuri matchup. The only matchup that is not very good against this is or the only matchup that this is not very good into is blue, right? So Queen, Crocodile, and Rebecca. But they are underrepresented in the meta. So against Zoro, against what is it called? Against Zoro, Law, Katakuri, and Whitebeard, you have a relatively good matchup, because you can rest their stuff, you can combat their board, you have tons of cards to kind of grind them out and gain advantage. Then you have like the Uta, of course, you have like Luffy for free blocks. There's a lot of, stuff that you can do. You have, Spiderweb, you have Punk Gibson. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can do against those decks that are more represented than others. And very rarely are you going to be playing against, if you're going to be playing in a major tournament, are you going to be playing 3 Crocs, 4 Rebeccas, and a Queen? Like, it's just very unlikely. So for that reason, I think this deck can contend in the meta, and I think it's really, really, really good. Let me know what you guys think of this deck list, and I will see you guys on my next video. Peace.